Actually, I have a
So
lot to say about. Oh,
what do you have a lot to say about?
Bull and Branch sheets. No. Go. I have a live read. See if I can get you started. Get some cash rolling in here. Oh no, just Blue Chew. Blue Chew. I don't know if you know what Blue Chew is, but it's advertised a lot on
If
my
you type in
podcasts.
#I tried to eat my phone, you'll get a 20% discount at proflowers.com.
Right.
Yeah, no, I have this crazy hair sticking up here. I don't know my hair is like bananas lately. That they call it chemo curl, where you get like kind of poofier, curlier hair after chemo. And I've always had stone straight hair. Yeah, look at this. I mean, I've showed you the party in the back.
Oh
thing,
yeah,
right?
right. Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that. What am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah, do a commercial for that. Tell girls, you want to, hey ladies,
some kind of hairspray.
You want to get a natural curl? All you need is
to get cancer and then go to chemo and then super
just
fun.
like that. And just like that, you too can have the natural curls you've always dreamed of.
I had to have a COVID test yesterday because and anytime here, I mean, Washington State is like hard press on like everything, which I appreciate, but every time I have to have any kind of procedure at the hospital, they ask for like a COVID test like a day or two before. So I went yesterday. This is my 4th one that I've had, and I will say it gets easier. Have you had one?
No.
They suck.
Well, yeah, the actual best ones, like the one where they shove it up your nose as far until they hit your brain, and then
yeah. I mean, it's like, I mean, the first time I got it, the gal was like, okay, just we'll go up this side, and it was like, she's like, and then she's like, we just count to 10, and she like, there's like the whole time of them putting up your nose, the swab, and then they start counting. So like you're like, okay, like what part of my brain are you swabbing right now? But yeah, so
I've heard
this 4th time I'm like, I know what to do. I drive up, it looks like ET in the parking lot. It's like everything's cloaked in like plastic and then you drive up.
I thought you meant more like there was a short brown man that comes to
you. No, that would be way more fun. No, it's like all cloaked in this like plastic covering, and you drive up. But I'm good at it now. I know, like, you just pull up and you like put your car seat back and you just let them come up. And like the first time I went, they were like, you might want to tilt your seat back. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And they were like, no, you really, you should probably do that because it makes it easier. And I was like, afterwards, I was like, oh, I get that now. So now I just pull up and I'm like, right, like, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh man.
Super fun. It's like a sci-fi movie when you drive up to like these places. You're like, this is real. This is real. This is really what's going on. So anyway, to my last question. Saturday Night Live skits. What's a favorite of yours? Some favorites? Old, new, whatever. What makes you laugh?
Oh gosh, probably some like, and I don't even know what the years would be, the mid-level one, probably, like the Chris Farley-ish type ones. I mean, Chris Farley skits, I mean, the old, Man Down by the River and all that, the motivational Chris Farley motivational speaker. Those the David Spade and the I always loved Norm Macdonald as the news, as the Weekend Update. It's because he has such a way about him, and such a way that he says things, and just his his very unique way to convey. and I loved also that it was, and it's funny now, like after the fact, how much like trouble he got in from the NBC executives hated him, and that's why he got fired. But but he would always just be like, there were, and somehow also around the time was, I don't know, some Michael Jackson stories, not the final ones, but like the earlier ones, and he'd always say something in the broadcast about also, he's a homosexual pedophile, and then and it would, but he would constantly, like, half his broadcast had at some point were saying something about Michael Jackson, homosexual pedophile, and whatever,
right,
and then
right.
and he would always slip that in, and it's just such a funny, weird, it's like a funny, weird, I don't know, a funny, weird way about him. But yeah, so those SNL times are probably, and it just it probably also depends on the time in your life. I can't really relate to, everyone's always like, Belushi and Eddie Murphy and all that, but see, you can't relate because that's before your time, and you're like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's funny, but yeah, because not everything's timeless or universal, and so and probably even some of the things that I liked from that time aren't as applicable today, and people would be like, I don't get it, like, what, there's no political humor, I don't get it now, I don't get it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of times probably in the writer's room where they come up with stuff and they're like, this is gold, and it doesn't make it, or it doesn't work at first, and then later on you're like, actually that's kind of comedy gold, like whatever, like small thing they did. And there are some sketches where I feel like it wasn't recognized initially, but then when you watch it a few times, you're like, this is hilarious. Like, we in our house, the sketches with Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen, where they're Noonie and Noonie, those the girls just, they crack up like crazy at those. Like, it's just so odd. Like, and I always think, like, how did that fly during the writing process? Like, it's just a weird concept of this odd couple that live in this, kind of neo modern apartment type thing. And like, but when when you watch it back, you're like, actually that's hilarious. Like, it's just so odd that it's funny. So there's a few things like that. I mean, Farley was great because of the physical comedy, and like, I mean, he was so talented, and such a force. But yeah, I think, from our time period, like, Sandler and Farley and Spade, and, that, Phil Hartman, such a talented guy. Those were kind of the people that we grew up on.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah, I think to your point, I think a lot of times, some of the funniest concepts for sketches that I've heard that made me laugh out loud when I heard them were sketches that were never done. And I don't even remember if you listen to any of the interviews with Bill Hader.
Yes.
Like Bill Hader, and when he's with Conan, I mean, Bill Hader, when he's,
I've gone down that
when you talk
hole.
about like laugh out loud things.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Hader and Conan together are just like, I mean, it's just, it's so much joy. I wish they had some sort of weekly or monthly podcast or something, but
no, Bill Hader,
yeah.
when he talks about, there's an interview with Conan or Jimmy Kimmel, where he talks about his like most obscure impressions, and he talks about Pete Morrison, which is so fabulous. That's one of my favorites. And then he goes into this thing about, he keeps going into all the Dateline people, and he's like, and then there's John Quinones, or all these, like, he just everybody, like, on that show, he just does them. And it's so fantastic. And then there's some other one where he does like a dying tauntaun from Star Wars, and he's like, but I mean, it is just like, he's super talented guy.
Yeah, that's, and then the other guy who had some like hilarious, JB Smooth.
Yes, yes.
Did you? I don't know if so I guess he was a writer on there at some point for a bit, and
He
I
was.
remember he had there were a couple ideas, and they always, I don't know why, but it's, and because he's so animated, and he tells
Yeah.
stories, or he like the way he conveys anything is hilarious. He just has a hilarious like mannerism about everything he does, and the two skits that he brought up, that were, I don't, but it was, of course they didn't even come close to making it, but one was something about a detective, but his skill was to solve the crime, he had to taste like pee or something like that. He had this thing, he's like, dip his tongue, taste like, all right, let me get another taste of that, okay, so it was something about a detective that solved crimes by tasting.
That's awesome.
And then the other one he had, it was like, it was a pirate, but so normally, traditionally the trope of the pirate has the one eye patch, but it was a pirate but with two eye patches. So just like, he's a pirate. And then, like, it's like stuff like that, like, it's like, how did that not I mean,
that's great.
God.
Now, if you get bored, you should watch. HGTV did this thing during the pandemic called Comedians on Couches, watching House Hunters.
Oh.
And it's Dan Levy and Natasha Leggero, and they host it. And then they have JB Smoove was on there for a couple episodes, and they had John Mulaney, who wrote for Saturday Night Live for many years, and a couple other comedians on there, and it is absolutely hilarious. Like, they watch an episode together, and it's like everything that you're thinking when you watch House Hunters. Like, it's like, really, you need two closets that size, like. Right. So yeah, highly recommend. You can go to like on demand and watch that, but JB is on there for like 2 different episodes, and he's absolutely hilarious. Funny. They just kind of talk off the cuff while they're watching it, and it's really funny. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's one of the kind of the things of comedy, is like where it's the common observations where that someone hasn't said it, but everyone knows it, and the comedian the comedian says it, and then it's maybe, I don't even know if it's a laugh out loud, but it's a comedy moment where you're like, yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's what. If it's relatable,
you want a beach house
content,
and your budget's $200,000, like, what are you thinking?
Or like the joke about like people on House Hunters where they're like, I make rubber bands for a living, and I'm a stay-at-home like knitter, and then they're like, our budget is $1 million, and it's like, what?
Right, there's there's that, right?
What? Well, Ken, this has been really fun. Thanks so much, and thanks for taking a break to talk to John. He loves that. So
no, that was great. It's funny. I'm so like, I feel like comedically humbled or something, like, because he brought up something that I did years ago, and I really literally only did it for myself. And he said he thinks of it all the time, and I was like, well, I think of it, but I just did it for myself, and I put it out there, and it was well, because it was so what happened was. So I was, I was in a like a 3rd story walk up outside, an outdoor walk up going in, and I like got a 6-pack of wine from the, and they give you those cheaply folded cardboard, carriers for a 6-pack of like 6 wine bottles.
Okay. Right.
And as I was, I was probably quite near the 3rd floor outside in winter, and something gave way, and I want to say at least 3 of the bottles were boom, boom, smash, explosion, whatever. So it was just wine everywhere, and you know, and when you talk about this, what I told him is like, as as you're mentioning, when you talk about turning something that maybe you should be really angry or frustrated, and there were 2 seconds where I was like, all this wine is gone and it turned into
You take
like,
a picture.
oh yeah, no, it's on Facebook. I think it's still on
Yeah,
Facebook. I
I
don't
was
know if
like, I
I
feel like I have a picture of this in
Yeah,
my
right.
head.
And
Like,
so immediately I was like, oh, well, because there was snow, so that helped keep the wine. So it was like wine everywhere, red wine everywhere. And it was I don't even remember what I posted, but something about and I put a black glove there, and and it was, I don't remember what I posted, but it was something about the murder of a sommelier.
yes, I do remember that.
And I was like, I just kind of did that because I just did it for myself. But it's like it is like see, like those type of things. It's just such a like a nice humbling thing where it's like, oh my gosh, like I know about it, but for John to like think about that sometimes and laugh about it, it's just
Yeah,
that is like a real like humbling, nice
yeah,
thing to
yeah,
to put a seed in someone's mind that makes them laugh at times. Yeah.
yeah. No, well, we all need that these days for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Ken, I really appreciate this. This has been so much fun. I love talking to you, and I've always loved your sense of humor. So thanks.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.